Time now for some smart advice, our special series on resolving all your legal, finance and tax issues that you might encounter while buying or selling your property. Today's problem is perhaps common to all home seekers in India. What do you do when your builder demands that you pay for your parking? And if you stand your ground on it being illegal, you are denied possession. Well, listen in to our experts solve this dilemma.
Welcome everyone to our special series Smart Advice. Legal, finance, tax, all of it is covered under this segment. And what are we doing? We're just thrashing out different issues which are commonly faced when you buy or sell real estate. Mostly when you buy, what are the issues which crop up with the developers, or not just the developers, in your buyer-seller agreement, in what you're promised and what you actually get in your hand. Lots of those. And in the absence of a regulator, we want to make sure that you take the right decision and you follow the correct path so you actually don't make mistakes which end up cornering you as a buyer. So today's focus, delay in possession coupled with financing issues. Thank you very much for joining us on this segment. We've got Samarjeet Singh, MD India Home with us. Samar, thanks very much for joining in. And also Amit Mehta, Advocate High Court, MS Solicitors Lex, from our Mumbai studio. Our caller is Anup. Hi Anup, go ahead with your question.
Hi ma'am, I've bought a flat in a project named Yogi Dham Building, Rosewood in Kalyan, Maharashtra, of Ajmera Buildings. Ma'am, the builder is not allowing possession of the flat as they want me to pay for the parking space. They are saying either I should pay for the open parking space or should I give them in writing that I do not require the parking space? But I require the parking space, and I'm also aware that as per law, the builder cannot sell parking space. So I am hesitant in paying for the parking area, as the builder clearly said, that I won't get any kind of receipt from this payment. The builder is saying until I complete the documentation, which include the signing of letter which says I do not need parking space, they, the builders, won't give me the possession of the flat.
Okay.
Now I'm not sure how to go ahead with this. Can you please tell me what options do I have?
Okay, complicated. Amit, your city, so many questions. Tell me, despite the fact that there has been a clear ruling by the courts that parking spaces can't be sold, I think it's being flouted everywhere and by every Mumbai developer.
Yeah, you are right actually. There's a famous judgment called Nahalchand Laluchand versus Panchali Cooperative Housing Society, where the judgment was very clear, stating that no stilt or open parking can be sold. However, developers these days, under some pretext or the other, circumvent the law, interpret it in the wrong way, and sell the parkings. It is also clear these days that they mention this stilt and parking into the agreement itself, so the people who are buying the flats cannot get away. According to this, I assume that probably this person has signed the agreement, but he has not been allowed to take possession because of the parking issue. According to me, he should actually approach the city civil court for fulfillment of the contractual obligation of the developer, whereby he has to perform certain specific performance. However, or else he can even go to the consumer court for deficiency of services. That's the best way to tackle this issue.
Okay, Samarjeet, what do you do? Of course, legally, you have that option of going to a consumer court, but we do know that consumer courts just take forever. In fact, Maharashtra Thane Consumer Court has the maximum number of consumer grievances from just one community, real estate buyers.
Correct. So, first of all, I want to compliment the customer on having taken such a courageous stand, because I know most customers would simply either just sign the document or actually pay the money. And I think they are, in principle, the customer is absolutely correct, because what he's done is he's made a case very clear that he does not wish to allow the developer to get away with this, what is clearly an attempt at flouting the law and actually circumventing the court mandated judgment. Now, that's on one side. On the other side, we have to be aware that the practical ground realities today are such that almost no developer is giving away the parking without their pound of flesh. So they are all either making sure that they are, a person is relinquishing the parking voluntarily like they are asking you to sign away, or they are asking you to pay off the record so that they are not in contravention of the court order. Now, if you've taken such a strong stand, my suggestion would be that you should then go all the way with this stand and actually in this case take the matter to court. You can either go to a civil court, as my friend mentioned, or you can actually look at driving for execution of the contract that you've already entered into. But in this case, I don't think your wait will be too long, because just the very act of you pursuing legal remedy in such a obviously flouted scenario will make sure that you will get some respite quite quickly from the developer, who will volunteer to solve the problem for you. So it's just a question of who blinks first. So in this case, while I'm always of the view that one should not try and get into a adversarial position with a developer before one has got possession of the property, but in this case you have already taken quite a strong stand. The legality of the matter backs your stand up completely. So I think if you were to now go all the way, actually approach a consumer court, write them a letter which comes on the record, again by registered AD, that clearly tells them what they are asking you to do and places on record the objections you have. That becomes then the basis and the paper trail on which you can take the matter legal. And I think you won't have to wait for resolution. You will get an outcome. They will volunteer to help you and either allot the parking to you free of cost or not make you sign that document quite quickly. So in this case, that's what I would recommend.
Sabaji, this is actually just blackmailing somebody. It's a house. You're saying that either you pay for the parking. What is stopping the developer from at least giving them the possession of the house and then resolving this parking issue later? That's what sometimes, one parking can actually take away somebody's home that he's probably putting his life savings into. That literally makes your blood boil. That shouldn't happen in a country like India.
So, Manisha, I think in this case what you'll find is that the developer cannot take the property away. So this is only leverage, and this is just last minute tactics. There is no question of the project itself or the flat itself being at risk. It is only a question of a couple of weeks or a month while the developer can hold out like this. Because if the gentleman was to go to court for specific performance of the contract, he could get a decree as early as 2 or 3 hearings, which could happen in a matter of weeks. In some of the court systems. So yeah, so I think one doesn't need to worry too much. This is what I would call posturing. I don't think the developer has it in them to take on this kind of fight where they are simply outrageously holding back possession because the gentleman is not willing to sign away the parking. So I don't think there's a need to worry too much. In terms of your point of it being very infuriating, it is not only infuriating but very frustrating as well for a customer to have to go through all of this. But like I've said previously, I think one needs to be logical and not let emotions overcome the situation. And in this case, be goal-oriented, which is your goal is to simply get that possession of your flat without being taken advantage of in this way. So if you were to write to them, put all of this on file, on the record, and then send them a legal notice from a well-known law firm, you will find that is sufficient to get you your possession and the matter will simply go away.